Oh my god. Yep.
I want the truth and nothing but the truth.
Hello.
We got hello. We got another guest.
Yeah.
How many times is this, Jabba? Is this like?
I think I kind of lost.
Oh my gosh! You joined at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we're really in sync. You know, we're good at this.
I mean, I can tell he's done it most of the time.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's almost like we came from the same place.
Bro,
Yeah.
Sam is Liam's stand.
I'm the voice.
Yeah. Oh, really? Is that
You
how
know,
this works?
Sam and I are actually in the same room.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like
crazy.
only about a foot away
You
from
both are behind a wooden
Yeah.
material.
Yeah, we're on
so
The
side
other
of the
side. Yeah, that's.
weird
I just.
cave that Sam has.
I actually live in a small little thing behind his bed frame, like a little mouse.
Sam,
frame.
what is that?
That's
I
right.
actually have never. I've always wondered, like, what are you
I never
allowed
seen
to
it before.
comfortable saying?
This it's just a wooden wall, but in between is felt. I built like a thing so the felt really eats up
Oh.
the sound because the echoes in this room are
Oh.
terrible.
That's actually pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
That's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, that
it
sounds-
goes like all the way to over there, but then
Ooh.
this side of it,
Hmm.
I'm waiting to build shelves, so it looks worse. But anyway,
Very cool.
this is not part of the pitch. No, we're not
Oh,
judging
is
my
it?
walls. Yeah. How are y'all today?
Doing
Fantastic.
great. I mean, kind of nervous, but it should be gone by 10 minutes or so. We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
just a heads
good.
up. I will gonna speed up the presentation faster than Speedy Gonzalez.
Okay.
All right then.
Wonderful. That's fast.
Yep. Yeah, pretty fast. But first of all, just letting you know that you're being recorded for this pitch matchup for Shirou versus Noctis.
Oh man, we got the soundtrack too. I love it.
Yeah, very nice and cozy. I
Yeah.
wanted to set up, make it
Yeah.
calm and stuff. All right, so Shirou Emiya versus Noctis Lucis Caelum, the hero of justice versus the prince of Lucis. I am aware that both of you are familiar with at least one of the characters here, like Sam. You have played Final Fantasy 15 before,
Yeah.
right? Yep.
Mhm.
And Liam, I mean, I don't know how much you know about Fate, but you researched Fate. So
I argued for
thought-
Artoria in a cast, which I won.
Right, I remember that. But yeah, I thought it'd be easier to pitch it to you guys as opposed to with Ben and Chad. But anywho, we can talk about the matchup itself now, starting with Shirou Emiya. So I'm gonna skip most of that backstory, but you can check the rest on the notes section beneath the slides here. But essentially, Shirou was the last survivor of a wildfire caused during the Fourth Holy Grail War. He eventually participated in the Fifth Holy Grail War to rescue people, and then later on, he would learn about his fate. Initially wanting to save people, the world would start to betray him as he was forced to kill everyone instead of saving them, and slowly losing himself, he became Archer named Emiya in the future. Emiya is spelled capitalized, by the way. But yeah, there are more info, as I said, which will be beneath these slides. But onto his main ability is tracing, which is part of projection magecraft, where you take a copy of existing object into reality. It strengthens the reinforcement of the object. But the thing about the projection is that it's being looked down upon by mages, but Shirou will make an advanced version of this called Trace On, where he not only copies the substance of an object, but also their history as well, allowing them to use their noble phantasm, aka their ultimate attacks, and also copy their techniques as well. In the visual novel, he described it as though the weapons are moving by their own, and Shirou just kind of follows along it. But his greatest magecraft is reality marble, a projection of one's bounded field, allowing him to rewrite whatever he wanted. So his origin and his affinity. Okay, so just know that Shirou is like a sword, symbolically speaking. So both of his origin and his affinity as a sword, when you combine them together, you get a landscape of every sword that Emiya has seen throughout his lifetime, called the Unlimited Blade Work, which is almost a one-to-one equivalent to that of true magic. It is very powerful, but it also comes with a cost in that it takes tremendous amount of mana, which is his life force. It can only last for a few minutes, and it can be even too overwhelming for Shirou to handle, or else he could potentially die from it. But yeah, that is Shirou's side scripting. We can talk about Noctis now. Who is he? So just a short summary here. A young prince who is gonna take the throne of the Lucian Empire, but then the enemy, the Niflheim Empire, retaliates and ruins Noctis' life for the worse. Noctis eventually met Bahamut, who told him of his prophecy, which is to shine light against all darkness. And 10 years later, he finally understood that purpose and would confront the source of darkness once and for all. But his main ability is warping, allowing him to teleport. All he just has to do is just throw his swords, and he instantly teleports to wherever it lands. I should also note that Noctis has a plethora of weapons at his disposal thanks to his bloodline, allowing him to have access to the royal arms called Amiga. However, they all pale in comparison to his greatest weapons, which is the Rings of Lucii, a weapon bestowed by the Astro, aka the gods, allowing him to have access to the previous king. With this equip, he can do the following. He can deal holy damage, he can cast death, he can even create a black hole just because. There's also a side effect for each warrior, but for Noctis particularly, he would suffer a great burn throughout his body, so he has to be careful while wearing it. Alright, with enough introduction, we can talk about the matchup itself. I think this matchup has tons of great elements because I think it has all sorts of greatness, you know? I mean, they have tons of swords and other weapons being thrown around. But before beginning more into the matchup, talking to the setup for a bit, I envision the beginning to be very much like Godot vs Dracula, where Noctis sits on a throne holding the Holy Grail and try to study it, and then you have Shirou confronted Noctis about this. And I can see Noctis acting kind of big or cocky and warping behind Shirou's back, and then the fight begins from there. Alright, so I want to talk about the unlimited blade work, which is one of the routes. But in the second half of the fight, it's going to take place in the reality marble where Shirou starts his chant for the unlimited blade work, which is right here, by the way, that's his quote. And then the camera angle changing to a new battlefield. And now he starts to deflect all of Noctis' attack and start to copy his Amiga. And towards the end of the fight, you can have Noctis start to resort to using the Rings of Lucii. And you can take things up a notch in that Shirou's reality marble starts to wear out, his mana starts depleting, his body's giving out, similar to how Noctis is suffering from the rings. And Unnamed Playbook isn't the only version of Shirou out there. There's also Heaven's Sphere route as well. In that route, Shirou lost his arm, and Emiya gave his own arm to Shirou. And while it does give him some boost in strength, Kyrie, the priest who gave Emiya's arm into Shirou's body, he sealed it for a good reason, because it is like a ticking time bomb that is eating his body. The more he uses it, the more painful his body gets. Like blades start stabbing him from the inside out, even stab his brain at one point, to the point where his mental fortitude deteriorates minutes by minutes. It's kind of like Deku at the beginning of My Hero Academia, except 10 times worse. This actually complements Noctis' usage of the Rings of Lucii, because the thing with the rings is that Noctis suffer a great burn as well. So yeah, seeing as to how both of them are on the verge of dying, but keeps going because that's just how they are, it drives the fight going. Like hitting their opponents hurts themselves more than it hurts their opponent. It creates a suspense, you know, like raising the stakes higher, knowing that they both will get themselves killed. I think this matchup has the potential to be the most hardcore fight in Death Battle. And even though I'm semi-compositing Shirou's with all the three routes, I'll be primarily using Heaven's Sphere the most. And I think this matchup is a perfect successor to previous episode. Very much like Godot vs Ursa, you can have swords being thrown everywhere. Oh, sorry. You can have, you have both of them deflect every attack from each other, just having a pure sword fight, outmaneuvering each other's attack, and fighting mid-air in fast-paced motion. Not to mention that the unlimited blade work opened whole new opportunity for this matchup to explore. And then you got the Heaven Sphere route, very much like God versus Dimitri, where they dealt with so much suffering that pain just doesn't bother them anymore. Every bones in the body shatters, the body's giving out, and they can barely move. Shirou's body is being covered with swords from the inside out, and Noctis skin pretty much burned to death. They would be so fixated on killing each other that they just ignore what's happening to their own bodies. It's such a brutal fight, man. But yeah, I just added this at the very last minute, but I'll explain anyway. So Shirou just has a recent buff where he can turn every sword into a broken phantasm, allowing the noble phantasm to be overcharged with so much mana that it explodes, and then it increases set weapons by one rank within the unlimited blade work, and it affects every sword that Shirou has in his repertoire. This makes the debate so much more interesting because Shirou can turn Noctis Omega into Broken Phantasm and have that same ability applied to every sword, and not to mention that he can copy Noctis Royal Arm and can just keep spamming Noble Phantasm all over and over again. Dude.
So he can do it to other people's swords then?
To his swords that he has collected in the unlimited blade work.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, he should be able to copy the ability that Noctis has, and then have that.
So he would just have a better version of Noctis's sword essentially, but it wouldn't change the one literally in Noctis's hand.
No, it would not. No.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
then. Time? Oh no, keep going.
Okay. So why do I like this matchup so much? I mean, it has such a outstanding choreography with insane sword clashes and having Noctis warping all over the place, creating fast-paced motion. But my absolute favorite things about this is the last one, is cinematicness. If you ever seen any of their series before, you know how cinematic their fights get, especially towards the end of their series. Having a slow build up to the unlimited blade work chant, tons of camera angle changing around, this matchup just works so well because Noctis, despite having access to tons of weapons and magic, primarily uses swords, just like Gilgamesh. So the foundation is already there, and this matchup just kind of builds upon that, especially after that new buff that Shirou got. So just a summary as a whole, there are multiple routes in Fate, and compositing them all together makes the fight more fun. But even just using Heaven's Field is already enough to make an intensive fight, and it just may be the most hardcore fight ever. Alright, one last thing here. This is just an artwork for this fight. I wanted the first part to be somewhere where Noctis has an advantage, like in the picture, for example, where he's attacking Noctis where Noctis is attacking Shirou's mid-air, but then everything changes when Shirou starts his chant for the unlimited blade work. And then the next act begins from here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this art is like a year ago, so here's a more updated version. This is exactly how I think they should look like right before their death, although it should be more gruesome than this. But yeah, it encapsulates my most wanted moment in here. But yeah.
Whole life was unlimited blade work.
Oh man, it delayed. I can play it again though.
My whole life was unlimited blade work.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I definitely think it's really cool. I got a couple questions though. Like, so for the Marvel reality, has anyone ever escaped it?
There are multiple characters who has escaped it before. I'm not a big research on Fate, but I remember one of the character in a Fate Zero has escaped reality Marvel before and even survived from it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So there's a couple, like, I think a lot of my questions are just mainly like about the research side of it. Like, would Noctis be able to get out? It's Bahamut who does save him, and like why he's gone for 10 years, right?
Right.
And
right.
Like, would, much like in Shigaraki Mahito, where All for One's there, like, would Bahamut be there? Like, and that's kind of a question of, because he is like a guardian of Noxus, right? So I don't know. There's a lot of questions asked, but I do think it's a really cool fight. And honestly, so many of Liam I's pitch calls have boiled down to people saying we want more sword fights in Death Battle, and I can't disagree with that.
Okay.
Thought
All right.
process.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this one is just a sword fight, but if you think about it,
This
it's
is a
pretty much a
peak
toho
sword
fight.
fight. Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
very
It's a
swordy
bullet
sword
hell
fight.
game. It's a
Yeah,
bullet hell
yeah.
fight.
That's a good way to put it for sure.
Mhm,
Yeah,
pretty
no,
much.
it's really cool. I don't know, Liam, you got any questions here?
No, this looks great.
Perfect then. I do have one question for
Yeah.
Jabba specifically, not to you guys, sorry. Jabba, do you have anything to say about the recent cast?
Oh, the recent cast? Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It was very calamitous, you know, very calamitous. It was
Yeah.
Glad it could be. I'm glad.
like,
Yeah,
I,
he's
I
the guy
wouldn't,
who picked.
I wouldn't pursue the matter any further. Oh,
You have a lot
Excellently
to say.
put.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Yeah, man.
It was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Me and Tyler had like called ahead of time to like go over some basic details so that the debate could be more interesting than just sort of kind of like explaining basic abilities. You know, it could be actually get into the meat of stuff. So
Yeah, I reacted to that like yesterday. I was like, because I didn't get to react to it on the day because I had like work and stuff. I was like, oh my god! And I saw the Glowcast. Like it was so awesome just seeing y'all talk about that. That was crazy.
Thank you.
It's such an intricate conversation. Basically, I'm like, wow, it's fascinating. Like,
Totally,
Yeah.
100%.
It was much more like a research call than a normal episode of Cast, but yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, totally. A very deep dive of that episode.
But yeah, this matchup is great. Liked it a lot.
Yep,
Don't
thank
have
you
much
very
else to
much.
say besides it's cool. I definitely get it. As a big 15 fan, I want to do a Noctis fight, so I'm there with you. I don't know enough about Fate, but Final Fantasy 15 is a good fucking game. So
Yeah, you said something about how you want to bring a more Fate character into that battle in the
yeah, I mean,
battle.
I think it's just like it's a big franchise, and like we have barely touched on it, and there's so many great characters in it. So
Right, yeah, too many, perhaps.
You could make a joke that like this match is like these guys got like swords wielding swords. This is crazy. Like I don't know.
Yeah, swords on top of swords.
Yeah, we do have to jump to another one though. So yeah, this has been great. Really appreciate
Thank you
it.
very
Thank y'all
much.
so much. Have a great
Thank you,
day.
guys.
Thanks for supporting the Kickstarter. I forgot about that bit. I hope you're enjoying all
Yeah,
the
it was a
episodes you helped
pleasure.
pay for. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
awesome.
I
yeah,
will get my rewards next week.
awesome. Good.
Next
Glad
week,
to
I
hear it.
think. Yep.
I'm so excited. They're like finally getting out there. I think we're almost done with like all the fulfillment. So yeah, I'm glad to hear you're getting them here soon.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah.
Appreciate the pitch.
Y'all too.
You guys.
Bye.
Hello.